How's your day going? Let's get some get some fun things going on here. Some colors. I like this color as always. Just I think it's just the lighting for the day. It's really bright in front of me. And it kind of bothers my eyes when I look at the screen, so I have to tone it down a little bit. I don't know. I didn't go to film school for lighting. I didn't go to school at all. I ungraduated. Is that possible? You know, people they don't graduate. What about people that graduated? They want to ungraduate. I ungraduated high school. Yes, that's true. I ungraduated college as well. Would anybody really believe I went to college? Although I did a few different schools, and not just for parties either. Let's talk about fantasy sports and just fantasy in general and sports and you know what sports are. And I started watching uh, Space Jam, the second one with LeBron. To say LeBron is a bad actor, yeah, well, he's a sports player. He plays a game. It's a sport. I mean, is it acted out? I mean, to what degree? Are they talented? Yes. There, and in the beginning of it, I had to shut it off. It was just so awful. Because there was one line, he's getting mad at his son, and he's going. He was playing basketball, and he was mad that his son was playing on a computer thing on the sideline. And he goes, "This isn't a game. You gotta focus when you're out here. You gotta da da da. This isn't a game." I'm like, but literally, basketball is a game. It quite literally is, from in anyone's mind, a game. I was like, oh, what kind of ridiculousness are we? I mean, I might watch it, but it'll turn in the way. You know how people are fascinated with like B movies, the things that never go big screen because they're so awful. But the awfulness is part of the intrigue, I suppose. It's like watching a car crash or something. Anyways, and I could see what he was saying. You know, these video games are just a waste of your time. They're not going to pay you or do anything. But if you get good at basketball, you can dribble good and get paid to be a professional somewhere. And take it serious. It's not a game. It's a job. Understandable. Just like acting is a job. Is it a trivial? Either one of them trivial? No, they're both, both entertainment. Both can help people. Both are in some ways a plague on society. But they are also both informative and helpful. So it's up for debate. But when he said this ain't a game, and I'm literally like, you're literally playing a game and confusing him about what a game is. I mean, would you say when you're playing Monopoly, that wasn't a game? Would you say the game of life wasn't a game, or this game that we're playing here, life? Apparently, what constitutes a game? What would you consider a game, and when isn't it a game? I don't know. Is everything a game? I used to get a kick out of it growing up when I would have parental figures or people say, "Do you think this is some sort of game?" And I would laugh because it literally, in all respect to me, was hilarious. So it's funny, and it most oftentimes was a game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've the more and more you try to, maybe I should look this up. I haven't. As I normally do. This is all off the cuff. I don't go into this with any motivation. I was going to get into doing something serious somewhat and do something on motivation, inspiration, and like how these, where does motivation and inspiration come from? And I think somewhat it comes from humor and games and Mm. I used to think it was education. But you can learn a lot from a game. You can learn a lot from stories. You can learn a lot from, as much as people like to put put Hollywood under the bus, I disagree fully. Because if you do, you got to put artists under the bus. You know, you got to say then all artists and music. They're like, oh, pop, turn your radio, turn your TV off, so you can create something. I'm like, but you wouldn't have any inspiration to create unless you were influenced by anything going on in the world, which has been inspired by Hollywood, which Hollywood was inspired by the world. It's a task of it's like a fool's quest to say. It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg, and what has no validity and what should have proper influence. It's like saying food is no good. Art is no good? At what point is art not? And I'm not getting to the point of saying Jackson Pollock should qualify as any important piece of art. I think it's a travesty. I think that the humor in it is that people ever considered it artistic and not just ridiculous. But that's the trick in the education. But what at what point do we divide up what is a drawing to, oh, that's a piece of art, that's nice, to the point that it's a moving film, and then now it's all Hollywood, it's all an agenda, it's all to ruin everything and destroy and not teach and not be educational. And what games are not educational? You know, you ever see these kids that grow up with no games in their, like, proper games in their life? I don't know how you call a game proper, but people that are influenced primarily by, you got to go do the spelling bee, you gotta order this way, you gotta engineer it this way, and there's nothing fun about that. I mean, I like engineering things, I like spelling, I like language, but not because I grew up on it, because there's something intriguing about it to me, because I found something interesting in how language is a technology and how it was built and the structure of it, and there's something about form and language and cymatics, and that's interesting to me, and I find that that I can use it humorously, and there is some education to it. But I don't think most children, like, if you put that, like, here, we're gonna do these really we need you to pay attention, you need to learn, this is how you're gonna earn money and proper and order, and those people become psychotic. But on the other hand, people that are always playing games, they're gonna live a very challenging life when it comes to everyday rigmarole. What's up, Aaron? Yeah, I think there's a happy medium, the balance to things. But I think most education is the premise of life is game-esque and learning through play, open source learning, and learning through whatever you can't like, do these kids even know how to, you said Marco Polo doesn't know what it is. Does a kid even know how to ride a bike? Because riding a bike is not like, here's how it works, do it. Because it's got to be playful, or else they're not going to ever want to learn to ride a bike, because it's going to be so tense and dangerous, because they might fall off, and they're going to fall off, and there's got to no, it's got to be playful, just like learn to play football. Some kids aren't cut out for it. Some kids will not ever play football. It's too much contact. They'll never box. They'll never play any contact sports, because there might be, they didn't allow for fun with it, play with it. Like, anything you play with, it's gonna, play with a puppy's gonna bite you. It's not, you gotta be like, puppy's not gonna break your skin, it's not gonna hurt you bad, but you're gonna trip, I mean, how do people get away from that that obstacle of learning, which is in life of playing the game? like to use an allegory, the quest for health. There's no healthiest person. It's learning. A lifelong learner. And as long as you understand it's a process, being healthy and doing healthy things and learning and doing things that are learning, and then teaching teach one, and all of this is just part of the daily experience of life. And people find it that either you're a learner or a teacher, or it's serious, or it's a joke, and it's not that radically different. It should be it's superimposed upon upon each other. That it should be, at least. It shouldn't be a separate thing. The learning has to be so exact, minute. You get out your microscope and this is how you do it. Versus going, oh no, just let your kids play in the mud all day and flip and flop around and get eaten by alligators. Like, the people that are like into that open source learning to a degree that, well, then you might as well start at ground base zero with life and not guide anything. You got those people. Those are the goofy like whacked out hippies. And then you have the ones in the other direction. So this is Alan Watts talking about prickly and gooey people. Gooey people are they're zero ball, round, sloppy oriented, that there is no order amongst things. It will just so occurs. And then the other direction is the stiff one people with the sharp, spiky, that it must be done this way. And there's something that the mixing of that is probably the reason why a good drink, a good meal, a good whatever has a nice balance between a bitter element, a sweet element, a sour, a savory, a spicy, sweet, sour, savory, spicy, salty, these elements. And it's all over the place. But some are sharp and some are round, and some are very, like, you want to cook in the kitchen, you have to know what temperature to put the oven at. You can't just hope it gets cooked right. But at the same time, you need to play in the kitchen. See, there's people are too divisive in that way. Which causes the idea of the necessary perception of duality, even though it's not duality, is just anything off the center, which can go up or down, left or right. It can go in and out. It's just off the center point, that we use it as duality, and it's either male or female. It's either hot or cold, but there's so much that's working in there, not only hot or cold, because that's not the only thing that matters. Soft or hard is not hot or cold. You could say cold equals hard, but is fire soft? Then you got to get confused, because that would definitely happen. You can't just barricade the middle and say to the left is red, to the right is blue, to the male is the female. That's dichotomous, to make people believe in duality, which is fighting. Where if you get rid of, well, I don't know where it ends that way, and I don't know where it ends that way, and it's a sliding scale in the middle, and in fact there's an up and down and so many different directions. It's like a color palette. It's perhaps why I do these things in a very grayscale on here, just to be humorous, because I think it's funny to me. But I'm wearing gray and putting grayscale on the screen my last few shows. Because in a color palette, there's not black and white. Those are not all colors in the absence of color. No, that's not how that works. Because if you look to the wall in front of you, the space between you and the wall, which is called clear, what you don't see, that's the absence of color. It's not what you'd say is black, and it's definitely not white. So these black and white fit on the color spectrum just the same as the dichotomy that you'd see as male and female. They're not even opposing. They're complementary. Black and white, complementary colors. Red and, look at your thing. It's all called complementary colors. They're not called opposing colors. And the fact that a male and female dynamic work together, that's complementing. not opposing. If it was opposing, it wouldn't fit. So people have this thought that we live in a dual world, a one and a zero world, and it's not true. At the base reality, you live in a triune world. It's the same. You know, the first computers that came out, there's binary computers and there's trinary computers. But it was too difficult and too expensive and too much work to put out trinary computers into the realm. So they put binary computers, which are zeros and ones. But your reality as a human, you work in a trinary system. Which how do you balance that? Where's the opposition? You can't it's a hard find. This is like the idea that all these people are like, oh, let's get into 5D reality. These dudes haven't they're not even living in 3D. They're living in 2D, and then they're expecting everybody to go to 5-dimensional reality. You can't even explain to me fully what a 4th dimension is. Don't jump over the 4th dimension. Don't tell me what you can't even really properly describe to me the 3rd dimension, because you're still living in 2D. You're still living in 2 dimensions. You still believe that a coin has a front and a back. You think a coin has 2 sides? You're foolish. You're clueless. No, it doesn't. It has depth to it, which means it's in 3 dimensions. It does. If you flip the quarter 1,000 times, it's not going to just land on heads or tails. One of those 1,000 times, it's going to land upright on its other side. You can't make anything that has 2 dimensions. 2 dimensions can't truly exist because you wouldn't be able to see it. You wouldn't be able to function within it. You have to have the depth to see the other side. So for 1 dimension to exist, or for two dimensions to exist, you have to have depth to it so you can see both sides of those 2 dimensions. 2 dimensions lives inside of 3 dimensions. You can't have two dimensions in opposition. You can't have a quarter. You can't have a piece of paper still has depth to it. It has 2 sides, but that's third corner, or a third, just because it's very tiny to you, doesn't mean it's not there. The front and the back implies that there is something that holds them together, which is the 3rd dimension. So you can't just go talking about everything's divided, and if you can't explain the 3D properly, and then you want to jump to the 5D, because you think somebody told you about living in the mind and projecting from that dimension without even explaining to me what 4th dimension is. It's time and space. You can't even show me then time travel. Show me how time works backwards. You can't, then traverse an object from there to there instantaneously. So you want a space jump? You want a time jump? You can't do that. So how these people can't describe 2D properly? They live in 3D. Even though they don't understand how that works. Because if you live in 3D, then you can't have 2 opposing forces, because that doesn't work. 2 complementary, perhaps. But still, you still have to have the fulcrum, middle part. And that middle part is part of what you'd call opposing, which are not opposing because they're balanced in the middle part. Which is why the triangle is the standard deviation for most of this reality. That people are like, ooh, triangles, Illuminati. Ooh. Haha, Aaron, you got in. Yeah, I'm saying. Like, she obviously has no idea what metaphysics, the crystals, or what she's doing is. Because she's obviously bound to the 3-dimensional realm and has no clue. 0 clue. Like, what is those? What's that crystal do? It's a protection from this and da 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 da. Like, well then, what do you need the thing for? Weren't you? Do you not? How you want to? She would probably tell you about the water. You have to give a water birth, and you know doctors are this and that. And but then she's gonna be like, these people are they're not existing. Not in 3D. They're existing barely in 2D. They live in a strong 2D dementia. Yeah, clearly they're called metaphysical shops. Oh, I'm a crystal shop. Well, crystals deal with metaphysics because no one really, unless you explain to me and define to me what's happening, on a science level and the vibrations and the crystals are doing, which probably they can, and then their connection to how the mind functions and programming crystals, they could probably do all that. Then why aren't they? Why would they be so? There's a damn travesty because you don't put a diaper on your head. Like what kind of you should ask them what crystals you should ask them what crystals would you use in place of a diaper for your head. People really are extra, man. Extra special. And whenever I find people really throwing the 5D word around there and all of that, I really it's so troubling to me because I know of only a few people that could properly explain it and that know. You know, I could say I'm one, but that doesn't necessarily mean anyone doesn't believe me. But these people can't even explain the other dimensions. They don't even know what they are, where they live, and then, they're gonna sell you some rocks and explain 5D. We shouldn't have to explain it because 5D wouldn't take your mouth explaining it. You would just project it and step into it, and you would time travel and take me with you. I mean, basically, isn't that how it work? I could touch you on the shoulder and we could just jump into it like Doctor. What's his name? Doctor Strange. Well, there's your first. There's your first problem. You went to Binghamton. The only time I went to Binghamton, I went to Binghamton quite a few times actually to play in indoor soccer tournaments because they had a really nice indoor soccer stadium um, before it was like the big thing. Like you go. That's where they started, upstate, right, New York, and they'd have basically a hockey arena that they turned into the soccer stadium, right? It's kind of where it came from, and so yeah, I used to go play indoor soccer in Binghamton. Mm, the only recollection I have, oddly, I don't make any effort to recall earlier memories in life, but it's strange because I can see it as I'm telling you the story right now from a third point of view. I can see it through my eyes too if I really tried, but I can see it from a third point of view of how the stadium was set up and where I came in the front door, what stadium, what field I played at. Yeah, interesting place. But I didn't know. I was too young to really conceive of what the city was. Yeah, there's quite a bit of there's quite a many places that are. I don't know. That's an interesting thing when you think of cities, like the size of a city, and I think of a city in two sizes, and then there's a third size, which is like Binghamton size, which is it just gets into that place where it's like it's basically just an expanded version of suburbia. Suburbia spread into the city, and there's no actual quote city unquote area in life. Like interesting, like Baltimore, there wasn't a lot of city life and downtown nighttime things going on, but it was a very similar city in a lot of respects to say Philadelphia or Pittsburgh. But Philadelphia had city life that was city oriented. Like you went into the city and there was things going on. Where Baltimore that didn't happen so much. So Baltimore was kind of like a step up from say a Binghamton, if this makes sense. But then you go to somewhere like the New York, the Chicago, the places that are however you define these different levels of how many people live there. Usually if there's a football team there or a major league sports team, non-small market. What's up? What's up, Junie? Oh, so I went outside. I went outside today. It's fabulous. It was I had a hoodie on and I didn't need it. I was kind of warm. I actually came back to take it off and I had little sweat pits. Ugh, ugh, I came back to put something else on and I just figured I'd talk to you guys because I wanted to eat some. I'd bought some groceries. And the groceries included, funny enough, I go into the store and I required one thing, and then I got caught up in shopping and I forgot what I needed. I get back to the house and I'm like taking out the snacks and this and that. I'm like, I needed apple juice and I forgot to get it. Anyway, so yeah, beautiful day outside. I went and seen the ducks. They were looking all right. Some cool people out. I seen a couple of my friends, a musician that was playing that I haven't seen in a bit, and yeah, and I walked and sat with some trees, and I was just like, it didn't really change much. I'm still in a, it's a strange point of content apathy. Not the apathy or contentment that allows for like living in squalor. People like usually when you say somebody is apathetic, it would mean if they spilled something on the ground, they would just leave it there. That's a form of apathy. But apathy in the sense like I'm just like I think it's I'm not impressed with this. Like if this was if I bought a ticket to go to the theme park and I'd done all the theme park stuff and I'm like I've had a day about it. That's how I kind of feel in general. And then the other things that I'm going to see in the theme park, I'm like, this is not only have I seen this before, just not impressed with it. Can you upgrade it? Can we make this more fanciful and funner, like more entertaining? Can more people enjoy this stuff, or are you just gonna destroy the park? Like, don't destroy the park. Just make more fun things. What's the other cinnamon called? Ceylon. It's Ceylon and the other one, because one is really good and has all the good stuff in it, and one's like the not proper cinnamon because it's from somewhere else. And I do enjoy a little cinnamon with. Oh yeah, junipers. For me, it hasn't been strange. It's just been. I'm so. Is it the word a malaise? Is that the right word? Malaise? It's kind of like okay. You know, It's kind of like, okay, if you were a famous rock band and everybody wants you to play your hits all the time because they haven't listened to your new music, and you're just like, come on, I'm tired of this. Can we get something else? Can we get a new rhythm here? In the sense of, it's still fun. I know you guys will appreciate it, but can we try something else here? So yeah, I could two step and Macarena, and we could do the cha cha and yeah, sure, but and try something else. That's about where I am. I'm gonna go pee pee somewhere, and when I come back, we're doing shots. Let's go. Get your shit together. We're doing this stuff. Let me go get a shot glass. And I gotta pee. I'll be with you momentarily. Okay. It's kind of like you know, Rick and Morty. Show me what you got. Or this band of what's the name of the band? It's like I ain't impressed with y'all motherfuckers no more. Like you ain't impressing me no more. Cause you or Shania Twain, was that Shania Twain? You don't impress me much. I know that's not how she sings it, but that's my country version of it. Cause you don't impress me much. And then you gotta go dirt. Anyways, yeah, so that's kind of how I and it's a really, for me it's strange in this sense that I'm not depressed about it. I'm just apathetic about it. It's just like it's a it's like, who the fuck cares? Like I don't care that I don't care. I don't know how I don't know how healthy that is. I don't know how unhealthy it is because I'm not mad about it, which is a good thing. I'm not emotional about it. It'd be like, I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe it's the not hanging out with the humans anymore, and people in general. Cheers, anybody? Hey, cheers to being not quite human. You guys want to join me? You want me to put some color on here? How about that? We'll put color on here. What's up, Skull? Yeah, Juniper's the moving forward. See, that's also. I mean, consider: are you not always moving, even in stillness? These kind of things. I mean, what is moving forward? What is progress? What is advancement? What is betterment? These are these are standard meditations because there is nothing to improve because everything as it is. But at the same time, maybe I'm just kind of like that song by John Mayer, sitting here waiting on the world to change, because I have to believe I'm not the only one sitting here. There's other people involved in this whole crazy party, and I'm waiting on them to do something. Like I can't put the next I can't I can't do the trim work on the house until you put the drywall up, and I'm waiting on people to put the drywall up. You know, I got nothing to do. I got shit to do with this. I feel like I architected and designed out and gave people the blueprints for a castle. I helped them frame the whole thing out, and I said, "You got to do all this stuff." And I'm like, "And if you need help, I'll even help you finish it." And I'm sitting there waiting on them to finish their part in this reality, so we can just put the finishing touches and you know put the little cutesy bootsy shit over here. And we decorate the place. Like that's what I'm waiting on. Hey, Juniper's, why did you say that? Did you see my thumb? Look it. See that right there? You see that? It's not broken, but I did. It is a little jammed. Why'd you say that? Did you know? Did you see that? Or are you? Am I supposed to do something to fix that right now? Because I've been just dealing with it and it's going. It'll be fixed when it's fixed. You want me to actually go and do some of the things I know how to do? Oh man, fine, I'll fix it. And funny enough, I do have a little bit of I burnt myself on a charcoal, I believe, or I smoked a blunt with somebody the other night, which was really weird thing. I had this so I had this little like water blister that I touched something hot, but I don't recall doing it in this reality. And I was also like, I haven't left the house, I haven't been anywhere. But then I had a dream or some sort of strange thing. I was like, I was hanging with somebody and I smoked a blunt with them, and usually, I'll smoke a blunt till the roach, whatever, until it's right there. And I had a thing, and I was like, where did I get that from? And I'm wondering if how sometimes, if I don't know if this ever happened to you, you're in the dream world, and then you have some sort of thing that is occurring in this reality, healing mechanism, or maybe you have a bruise or something. And I'm not just talking about drunken stupid nights where you go out and like, I don't know what happened. I'm talking about like legitimate, like you're in the dream world and you wake up and you're like, oh man, I wasn't feeling so good yesterday, and now everything's great and my legs move and I had a twisted ankle, and in some way, how did it fix so quick? Or in the other direction? That just occurred to me. Well, it just happened to me a couple of times. Oh, yeah, I hear you. Not enough thumbs are mashing the like button. Yes, but then again, it's in a decent enough ratio to people that show up. There should be way more people that show up. It's kind of like if you were to have a party and make an invite, and then everybody's like, "Oh, I didn't get the invite." I'm like, "Well, I sent it to you," and they're like, "No, no, I really didn't get the invite." Versus like people that just don't show up, and you're like, "Where's the? Why didn't you show up?" And it's like, so if you show up and you give a thumbs up, good for you. And I'm happy with the thumbs down too. I wish we could see him, and I wish there was a little more. Mm, you know, I wish a thumbs up and thumbs down were still available that way, and it said who thumbs down, and then it was like it should give me a little more control over it. Where if I was had a show and 90% of the show, okay, so 100 people show up and I get 10 thumbs up, that's fine. I mean, for me that would be a low number, but let's just say 100 people show up, I get 10 thumbs up, all right, and I got 3 thumbs down. But then they stayed for a large portion of the show, and then they show up every time and give me a thumbs down, that should be noted. And it should be noted too, the people that show up and just give me a thumbs up for no reason. I think they're both kind of, contrary to reality. Like, just because you like me doesn't mean what I say is any good. And just because you don't like me, just because you don't like me doesn't mean what I'm saying is faulty. I'm just delivering the message, man. I'm just the messenger. Don't kill the bell, man. Am I on other platforms? Not really. Junie, you don't know this? Like, no, I just been using this. Every time I try to use another platform, there's no way to do live things. I've tried doing live things to get an audience, but then I'm trying to, obviously, if I'm going to get an audience, this is my work. This is what I do. I like doing this, and sometimes it's I can't do live. If I can't do live, I have no way of I'm not going to sit there for 30 minutes talking to no one and then post it there, because I don't have enough storage on my phone, computer, etc., etc. I don't have any way of doing that. So, not exactly. I would like to be on other platforms, but every time I ask somebody, everybody here's got 10 different options, and then I go there and I try to do it, and there's nothing. There's no, and I'm like, tell people from here, go there, and then it doesn't happen. So I'm like, it's not, I don't know what to do. It's like you see somebody like that has a big enough channel. First of all, their channel's big enough, and they're not doing live videos. They have like a script or an idea or whatever, and they're filming and they're editing, and then they post it, so they have it, and then they can regurgitate that onto 20 different platforms. You got Eric DeBay, you got I'm just using it as an example, that he has like 10 platforms, and that's his income, and and he's putting out good information. Solid for him, good for him. But that's not how I function, so I need a platform that I can do this shit live. Because I already did all of the things where it was one-dimensional, me speaking, camera, listen, here's education. And I don't really have even access to that to re-implement it on other platforms, because I don't have it downloaded on my phone. It's on YouTube. I'd have to, as I've told people before, because they're like, hey, why don't you just download it and put it on, I'm like, how many gigabytes I'd need? How much time? I would have to pay for to get all of the equipment, and how much time that would take to download damn near 1,000 videos of up to an hour. How many terabytes? And then to re-upload them, I'd be here all day for months, and it would still take, Yeah, how many? How many? It would take one. You said how many external devices? You would just need one big one. That's all. But then it would take the money and the time, and then I would need the proper, like, to make it even worth trying to do, like to download to upload something off of YouTube back onto my shit would take 30 minutes, depending on the upload speed, right? So I'd have to have the 80G network, and then I'd have this much RAM and this much. I don't know. I don't specifically know how that works. I can figure it out and use the right words in a second. But between the storage, the re-uploading my own stuff to that, and then re-downloading it, that's a whole thing in and of itself. And then I have to market it and I'd have to do the whole shit that somebody else could do, that so many people said they'd do for me, that just doesn't happen. Wait. Aaron, make me laugh. A YouTube partner? How? I'm literally almost kicked off of this every time I speak. YouTube's gonna make me a part. I had the capacity to make money off of this. No, they literally don't answer any of my emails when they're like, "Oh, you said something that is anti. You're saying something that is not good for people." They're gonna make me a partner. I had the ability to use some of the things, and they're like, "Nope, you can't do that. You could, ask us in writing to allow you to." No. and because I put all my videos on private, my numbers look very low. And considering as I've put out there many times, 3 years ago, I don't get any new subscribers. The 6,500 that you see, that's what I had 3 years ago. Like at this point, it should be in the tens of thousands, if not 100,000. But it doesn't work that way. I'm not. While I understand I'm a hot commodity for some people, not for the things I say. For the who's gonna sponsor and accredit me, who's gonna be like, yeah, listen to what he says, because it cuts down half of their, like I'm not shitting on YouTube or any specifically, but when you like think of it this way: if you're a professor at a university, the only way you can talk mess about the university system and what goes on is if you're tenured, and at that point, it's even hard to get in your classes, and you're just kind of like a one-off teacher, like that's a. And Aaron, yeah, like you already answered yourself. A partner is people that make boring ass videos. I mean, I'm just sitting here talking, but it's hardly boring. I would suspect. I would suspect. Um, YouTube shifting the burden of storage to the individual content contributor. I haven't seen that. I don't know that, and I doubt it. I mean, I haven't seen that. It's that's not what occurred, or on my channel, or I've gotten any information on such things. I don't know how they could do that. I mean, I could see why they would do it now, but they would have to. I don't want to get into the whole thing. It's just a long dialogue. Yeah, material that's done like crap. Yeah, it's like it really always goes back to that. Do you want me to give you a quality brake pad and put it in this box, or take a shit in a box and mark it guaranteed? And that to me is the people with the nice equipment. It's kind of like somebody that can't drive a car, that has the really fast car with all the turbos and posi front end and the and all the shit on it, and but they can't drive, versus somebody that can drive but doesn't have a nice car. It's like on here, if I had the green screen and if I had at least one person going, here, check this, put this little frame up here, and it would, and here, put these correct things in here and follow the algorithm correctly, and they know what's going on. Yeah, then my channel's different. My channel would be that, but it's I just sit here and talk, and that's not prime creative. I'm not going boom bang boom boom, and there's cut screen cut. You're watching it happen real time. So if I stutter on something, or if I say something goofy, there it doesn't just go to, here's a fancy picture of a camel's tits or something. You'd have to wait for that joke. And as I've said before, I do this from my phone, So it's an Android, and if you don't make videos, you don't understand this, but using a PC versus using an Android is two different beasts. I cannot on an Android go to my like if I'm gonna make a video on my PC, I can go and put in all the tags before I do the video, and it will follow and it will be tagged in the algorithm. I can do all of these things, but when I make this, the only way for me to change the tags on this is after it's done, or I have to go into a PC and change tags that are, and it's set up in such a weird way that it's just a whole thing. It's a whole, and then I have to do that every video. So it would take me hours and prep work, and it would take me having a PC that works, which I don't have. So if I had a PC in front of me, it would change things to a slight degree. Well, Aaron, depending on where you live, I mean, you could just walk into stores and just grab stuff and leave, right? Go to Cali. They'll just let you grab anything you want now, right? Isn't that how that works? And I'm not for it or against it. There's a long list of pros and cons to this, but it's pretty funny. Hey, I mean, I have a pretty high tech phone here. Obviously, the picture's really good. You can hear my voice. The audio's good. The quality's good. And it's a good phone. I'm happy with it. But it just using an Android doesn't allow you the same access as a PC. Nothing you can do about it. I finally looked up why, and it made no sense, but the why was it so that it kept bad content. This is what it said. It kept malicious bad content from being put out. That if I don't have 1,000 subs, I can't do live videos. If I don't have a certain, right, I can't do live videos on here. But if I have a PC, then I can do live videos with 0 subs. And so it was like somehow the equation was, if I have a phone or Android until I've built up a large enough audience, I can't do live things, and it still doesn't let me do certain things. I have to have a PC to get full access, and then if I do, I can do all this stuff. There's literally no, and it's like the justification is so that way you can't just open up another channel and give bad information, which is silly, because if you just open up a channel, no one's going to pay attention to you anyway. So who cares that one person's like, hey, oranges are made out of rabbit vomit. Oh my god! Like, first of all, who's going to believe that? Second of all, like, who cares? Like, nobody's going to pay attention to that anyways. So there's little, I don't know, little tricks being done. An iPhone ain't any better than an Android when it comes to doing videos on here. An iPhone ain't any better. Like when I had an iPad, it didn't change anything. Having an iPhone or an Android doesn't change anything. Anyways, let's move on to something else. I talk about this once in a while when people ask, but I don't want to get caught up in the malarkey. And iPhones I don't like at all, because obviously if no one's noticed what they do, it's just like you have to buy a new one every year. You have to be on that dollar and purchase a new thing, because they're gonna put all the odd, you know, malware and garbage and eat up this. They'll do that on the iPhones. They always did that. But everybody's willing to come out the pocket for it because they got the fancy iPhone. I don't know. They used to have iPhones. It was convenient in some respects. You know, convenience level for people. If you got the money, iPhone's probably the coolest. But then you'd have to go, okay, well then here's an upgrade, and then here's an upgrade if here's an upgrade to go to Android, an upgrade, and what you get out of it, and here's the downfall, and here's the upgrade if you have a computer, but hey, what's the best operating system? You know, what's the best way? And then you're like, well, then you have to really know computers if you want to. You have to be a computer programmer, and you're like, but that's not what I want to do. I don't need to or want to know that. I want to. Why are they? The less you know about how the computer functions, the less access you have of using the functions. Like, you know, the really nerdy kids. This is a compliment. Nerds are cool. I'm a nerd about things. Nerdy kids, the geeky kids, these are good things. They use what kind of they use Linux because they can just program and get in from the rear door and type this in and do this, but they know that, and they have that capacity where iPhone is here, which gives you push button access to anything, but you can't do any extra stuff, and Android's kind of sitting there in the middle. And the point is, if I'm doing this, then there's no way I can be on Linux or doing PC stuff to have more power over how the how I'm accessing things, right? That then you you limit it. Like the person doing the wild stuff can't be doing the person playing the game, playing soccer and really good that everybody watches and pays attention to, isn't the one filming it, isn't the one putting all of the things together. It's behind the scenes, in front of the scenes stuff. So you can't really, you can understand how they work, but you can't. I don't have enough time to do both. And it's just not fun for me to do the Linux behind the scenes stuff. In some ways it is. I don't mind cooking, you know. I don't mind being in the kitchen. I don't need anybody to know that I'm the one doing it. I don't mind serving a meal and telling people why it's amazing. You know, doing the salesman. You got the salesman thing, and you got the people that built the car. This is how it works. There's so many analogies to explain these things. Well, cheers. Welcome to the party. It's like being able to host a party whilst also enjoying the party that you're hosting. Organize it. You know, let's put up the bells and whistles, order the stuff, do the thing, be at the party, also be the haha, and then also enjoy what you're doing. You know, it's an impossible fool's quest. So anyways, who else is up in here? What are the 7 humans or robots? If you're a robot or whatever, you can talk too. You're allowed to. If you guys want to ask me why I'm picking my nose, you guys want to have a conversation? Do you have a question? I could answer it. I could answer it from. I could pull out some tarot cards. I could use my brain, which I don't even know if it works anymore. It's like this. It's like I don't like to have my whole head up in here and pushing the buttons. I would like to sit back and have this away from me, but I don't have like the wire to put in the thing over here so I could see the questions and not have to scroll through. That I could have the camera over there. You know, I would like to do that. That'd be nice. I'd like to have a green screen behind me. Is it Is it valuable? Is it needed? Yeah, be nice. Just it isn't here. It's something. It's always interesting to me when people have if say you had a channel with 10 or 20,000 subs, maybe 100,000, and you got a bunch of people, 300 people show up, and there's comment after comment, and you can't even process all those. So in that sense, I appreciate that. But then whenever I see people in here and then they don't comment, I'm like, I understand why when I go to people's larger platforms, I don't type shit because they're not gonna see it anyways. But if there's only a few of you here, I would appreciate it if you just said hello. All you got to do is say hello. You don't got to tell me anything about yourself. Oh yeah. There we go, Aaron. Well, then you don't need to ask me something. Just say, just just type, just do it. Close your eyes and just type words. Who knows? That's what do you think I'm doing? I don't know how. I don't know how. I mean, it should be mind blowing to some people how, for hours on end, for how many hours I've probably put out there, the hours of ingestion of knowledge, and how I can turn it into all of these hours of just talking. Pretty impressive, I would say. Um, but I'm doing it all completely just off the cuff. It's like whenever rappers say they're doing something freestyle, no, they're doing it for free, but they're not freestyling the way that people freestyle when you're just hanging out with people. Freestyling is literally, let's see what topic comes up and work with it. That's freestyling. That's what I do, and that's also for free. But what they're doing is writ style. Like it's written. Can you remember it? Can I remember I've written plenty of things, but I'm not gonna repeat it verbatim. What up, Mark? Pull out your pull out your tarot cards. That was very Mark out of nowhere demanding I pull out my tarot cards. And when you say you've never been into tarot, oh, Aaron. So did you never see any of my early works on tarot, or excuse me, on astrology? I did a series of videos on breaking down astrology for people that are not into it, to give them a foundation of how it works and how it functions, and not to the point where you're gonna go, oh well, the Saturn is in Uranus's moon's sun sign of 3 degrees off. Like that is all extremely absurdly specialized. But I broke it down to very simple, understandable way, a logical way of understanding in what you'd call, I guess would be influences, in the same way like if I told you eating a cheeseburger is going to influence your body to be tired, versus if I gave you some orange juice, you can go out and run a little more. Like that's how I break down the philosophical differences between the planets, the energies, and making it a very easy that will get people into wanting to learn maybe more about it. But that's where I start with things. I don't know if you've ever seen those. I don't know how many of those videos I've left online, but I'll re-upload them. As I've told people recently, I'm going to start re-uploading some old ones, or at least rehashing them. And make it be known, when you're studying this, you say you get along. Cancer is terrible with Aquarius, but you've always loved Aquarius people. Well, here's the problem. The sun sign, which is bright in your face, your rising, and your moon sign are all three very important aspects. One is how you are, in public, right? This is the way you shine. And then there's how you really deeply feel, and then who you are essentially around your friends. So then you have this with the sun, the moon, and the rising. This would be this very simple way of explaining it, right? So most people just go with the sun sign, not even recognizing that if someone has their sun sign is, say, Aquarius, but their moon sign is dominated by an earth sign, then you might butt heads with that person. And if it's also a male, you're going to get along with that person differently than if it was a female. Sagittarius women, best for me. Sagittarius women and Scorpios, best sex by far in my life. But I don't get along with necessarily mentally. There's something there. And then if it's a male, I don't necessarily get along. Well, if it's a male, I might not get along with the neighbor next to me. So I'm a Gemini, sun and moon, which gives me a little bit more. It's not going to confuse people too much, except for I'm a Gemini. Well, that would be a funny joke for people that know astrology. The next door sign to me, Cancer. If it's a male, I might get along, but a female, I'm not getting along with. See, because the polarity is gonna reverse slightly. So, yeah. So see, did I just say this? So me and you, we get along like this, yeah? Gemini, Cancer. So you're July. I'm June. Next door neighbors. Think about it in real life. Your next door neighbor, on one side of you, think of your childhood. Think about anywhere you live. Next door neighbor, the earlier sign, you get along with. The later sign, not so much. But male or female, that's going to give a dynamic too. In life, literally the person lived the right and left of you. You probably had your fun neighbors, your good neighbor, and the bad neighbor, right? That's the same thing in astrology. You have your neighboring signs. And then you have the energy that's influenced that, which the secondary influences, the male and female dynamic. And then the moon dynamic, right? That happens. And like I said, if you were a female, not gonna get along with you as well as a male that is my next door neighbor on this side. You see what I'm saying? You can reverse something very quickly. You reverse it just by the sex of something, the gender quality, the quality of the gender. Are they expressive or are they possessive? Are they electric, spitting out? Or are they ingesting? Are they people that laugh at your jokes and are quiet and you're a loud person? If I'm a loud person, people that are quiet and are ingestive, they think I'm hilarious. But people that are also very outpouring of energy, they might find me obtuse in the way of what they're doing. That's how those things, when you look into the triangulation, you have the triangulations of air signs that talk a lot, earth signs that are grounded, they're strong, fit into their thing, right? And then you have fire signs that are always like, oh, they're ready to go. That's how that works. If you're a cusp, as a Gemini, being the most, a Gemini is a 1 and a 1 held together. You see, look at the sign. It's the most prominent summer sign of balance, but complete polar opposites. Geminis are crazy, but they're balanced because they're held together with something, yes? And a cusp has the same thing. They're sitting on the side of two signs. At least the Gemini is air. It's just air. It's a lot of speaking, a lot of communication, a lot of money, a lot of energy. The other cusp signs are whatever they're cusped with. So whatever, if I went to June 23rd, that would be cusp with Cancer. So it would be those two signs that have to battle. And then you go to the next one and you say, Earth and fire would be next, yes? You go through those connections, and so the cusp. That's a really difficult thing to explain, because if you're a cusp for your sun sign, then you have to consider again your moon sign, which is going to be another aspect. And you go, okay, well, this is all just funny. No, it's just like saying when people don't understand astrology, they don't understand cooking. If I'm cooking you a meal, if I'm India, if I'm Mama India, and I have all of the spices, and I overspice it with ginger and not enough garlic and no onion and this and that, you'd be like, ugh. But if I spice it right, even though ginger is prominent, you'll understand it. That's the same influence of all of the systems of energy. So the major ones, the major influences are the Earth's energy, and then what's coming at you is the sun energy and the moon energy. Those are the two. Those are the prominent three, and then everything else is spices on that. And if you don't know how the spices work, is why people don't understand. Like, okay, well, that meal was okay, or was it great? Was it terrible? Because they didn't understand how the energies function to influence. It's the salts. This goes into the primary salts of when you're in the womb, which are angles or fractions of energy within the 9 months that you're in the womb, and then you don't have the other three. I'll do that another time, but that's not what I want to get into right now. Let me go piss and grab some tarot cards. Yeah. I mean, I'll try to. These are talks that I've done so many times, but in different ways, and we'll try to figure it out through astrology, tarot. If you want to get into like genealogy and all of the elements, we can do that too. We'll use the wildwood again because, well, it's sitting right in front of me, and I don't feel like digging around for the other tarot decks that I have. I have ones that I like better, but we'll work with that. Uno momento, and y'all pour yourself a drink or smoke yourself some bud or snort yourself some, I don't know, or whatever the hell you do, or eat some mushrooms, or drink some water, drink your piss, eat a Big Mac. I don't give a shit. Go do something. Involve yourself. It's a strange place. Be strange. Okay, cool. Aaron, 21st of July. That would be. That's an early cusp. Like it's hard to tell. But yeah, I mean, it's like anything. If you're almost something, like you're either strongly masculine or strongly feminine, or you're slightly this and like, or you're. I really like sweet things, but I need some of this, or There's flavors, and so the closer you get to, I like the water. What is this? Oh, there we go. But I prefer the sun. These kind of things, like, it's the closer you are to the where the influence of the sun and the moon are in the sky on you in the womb. That becomes your general thing. But then, throughout life, I'm trying to break this down for you. Throughout life, you'll be influenced by where you live and who you live with. The spirits of the food you consume will change your dynamics. The people that you're involved with, you're always with people that are fire signs. You'll become fiery. You hang out with a bunch of people that are like this, you'll end up that way. If you go to where the sun is, you become more of a fire person. You go to the beach, you're going to become more a water person. These are obvious natures, but this is where the influence of the original being that you are. Anybody, you'll see this when you pay attention to it. What do we got here? I'm going to get these tarot cards out. I love how they call them tarot cards, because cards are terrorizing to people. There's a terror people have about cards. Most people, I mean, it depends. But some people are very afflicted and affected by cards. Okay, there we go. And I only play with the major arcana because it's just too much unless I'm doing an individual reading. I'm not going to do the entire deck. Mark, you're Mark, you're the 22nd of November? Scorpio, Sag. You're Sag. That's hilarious. I've known so many Scorpio Sag, usually women, but it's just interesting, and it's also interesting that in conversation, these kind of things come up. I don't meet people. I'm like, what's your sign? I mean, I have, but it's not a general. I don't know people's birthdays. I know how they function, but it's always funny that when I ask someone, it tends to be Sag, Scorpio, Cuspy too. That's a major one that happens all the time. So why is it that's the people that interact with me? December babies. December. November, December. So they kind of get towards the opposing. Some June. So December, January. Yeah, there's influences, man. It's outside of my bounds of going, well, I don't date or meet chicks that are born in August. Doesn't happen. I mean, and maybe I have, but we don't come to that conversation. But chicks that I've had the conversation with and also been with tend to be Scorpios. They tend to be different ethnicity. They tend to be, there's all of these things that are influences them on what's going to be connected, attracted magnetically to you. They go this way. Walk through a strip mall. You don't go to the ice cream shop and start talking about the steak dinner. And next door ain't gonna be a steak dinner. You have to go down over there for that. It's set up quite similar. You don't know any card but the Ace of Spades? I wish I had some pictures. There's a long story. I'll tell you sometime about that. Conversation hardly ever comes up. Well, there you go. So for maybe because you're not accustomed to it, that's not part of, like, some people are very hardwired to the earth and they're not interested in airy fairy shit, like maybe thinking about what the cards would say. Yeah, that's a thing too. I'm sure I'm sure you could find this information out, and there've probably been studies done on it. Um, what people are most aligned and in tune with, I hate using stupid shit words like that, even though I really mean it. To tarot. What kind of people read tarot? How many people that read tarot are air signs? How many people are Aquarius? How many are earth signs? I'm sure there's a difference. How many people believe in it? How many people know that it's true? How many people that are, that has to do with the qualities of, that's a thing too. And you might just go, no, that's just psychology. But the psychology was based upon how you were birthed, where. These are all childhood influences and traumas, and the influences and traumas of your life are no different than the influence of if you were born when it was cold or when it was warm. If it was cold and you come out the womb, you might die. If it's good weather and blah blah blah, and you were fed right, those influences are going to be something, just as well as the sun, the moon, and all of the different energies. Those are happening too. Like for me, I'm so Geministic, right? That tarot cards, I wouldn't. No one would be like, "Oh, you're gonna grow up to read tarot cards and know about astrology and be a linguist and play with language and all this shit." Not that I'm good at any of it. I'm terrible. I don't know. Um, but the Geministic nature, the duality, I grew up, and everything was engineering, mathematics, and an orderly and physical realm. I didn't listen to music. I did not draw. I didn't know art was. I didn't take classes. I didn't want to. And now I'm more than intrigued and engaged in all sorts of arts and music and language and the strangeness of what you might consider a tarot deck. And I never would have even considered that. It seems so. It's quite ironic that the things that are least perceived as scientific have more validity than what I used to believe to be scientific when I was a child. That those things became very, very peculiar at best, and that the quasi sciences became more scientifically a foundation of scientific mindedness, and the things that were scientifically minded became more rooted in the in finances. In science now is rooted in finances and in commerce, but the things that don't have anything to do with that actually have more science base, like what it takes to actually be like that seems closer to the truth, are the things that so airy fairy. There's no money in that. There's no money in art. There's no money in music. There's no money in tarot. Really, and not. So how can we validate it? We can't. So nobody studies it because they don't see a financial gain. Therefore, they don't see the worldly gains. But people that believe in the things that are considered scientific, they make lots of money. But it doesn't equate to validity. The validity of the things that I thought that didn't have any truth or any energy to it. Actually, there's more energy in music than just about anything. There's more energy in smell than anything. There's more energy in looking at the arts than. But in the tangible world, what has more value when it comes to, like, there's a function to this car that certainly does. Is it the best version of the car? Why is the car made? Who made the car? Oh, here, let me go grab a deck of cards. I mean, these cards are connected to those cards. I could break that all down. I just don't feel like doing the whole, because it'll take 30 minutes. And that would be just the base of it. But I will go grab this to show you something. So I was gifted these the other day. These are really nice cards. Because I'd given away so many of my other decks of cards. I don't know why or how they showed up, but oh shit. Some shit going on out here. Chaos, yes. I'll show you. Let's see what we got here. So here's a deck of, they're all, they're there. I keep the jokers in there for a reason. And I'll just shuffle through them. And there's this strange thing that happens, and I used to do this on like the streetcar, and so people would assume I'm doing a trick, a sleight of hand trick, where I could just pull a card out the middle and it'll be, and I don't do that. I don't study like I know how some of the magic and sleight of hand shit works. And because people are so good at it, I could certainly I could see why they would believe that I'm doing that. But I'm not doing that. I would just pull the deck out and I would just randomly pick a card. And once in a while it would happen. More often than it should. It's like right now, I'm going to shuffle through this and there's no way for you to believe me or not. This is just like it's like a stage show, right? You stand in front of, if I didn't tell her I could push a card, I could shuffle this, I already have changed the deck. When I put it down here, you can't see it. But I could just let you know that I think that I'm going to pull out and I'll have a belief. Usually when I go into this, I don't have a belief of what I'm going to pull out, but I'll just be like, it's going to be a major card. It's going to be perhaps a black king or queen or ace. Oh, there you go. I got black out of it. Right, we can work through that. Let's see what we can get to. See, we got nothing. See, I'm working at it too hard. But I mean, the point is that I've just shuffled cards and gotten some really weird things to happen that happens too often. Let's see if I can find one. Is that one? There it is. There's the king. And here's the ace. Let's see if we can do this. I dropped some. Okay. Here's my favorite card. Let's see if we can find it. Favorite card. Okay, wait. That's my favorite card. Wait, is that not the right card? Let's see. How would you do this? I see you get. Oh, look at that. It's because it's the fucking same on both sides. It's not. This is not a trick deck. It's just a card in there. Let's go back to. I have no idea what we were doing with this deck. Anyways, let's just use the tarot. This is just proof of I don't know shit, and cards don't listen to me. They just happen as they should. So you should trust not in what I'm saying. I'm just proving something here. You should just trust in the deck. But then again, I could have been not pulling out the right cards on purpose, and you'd think I'm shuffling this tarot deck to give you an answer that I want to push the answer into your head, and I'm not. Let's just figure out what your day is going to be like, and we'll bury the first card. What is the general energy of the world, and how's your day going to be? And there, it's that. The blasted oak. It's a really cool one. You like the picture? Speaking of blasted oak, I'm fucking blasted right now. And not really. I'm just kind of a little drunk. Who wants to do a shot with me anyway? And let's consider what the blasted oak means for your future. You're like, oh, you're just reading something. It doesn't even fucking matter. You're just making things up. Fine. But most times people make things up. It tends to come true. The Blasted Oak is about, let's see, it's a figure that falls from a severed branch of a lightning-struck oak. Flames dance around the falling figure, turning the hair to flame and burning the bonds that appear to have tied the person to the branch. As the figure falls, attached to neither the tree nor earth, the powerful lightning energy charges the very air with dancing figures of light and seeks to earth itself by passing through the figure and shooting from the outstretched fingers that seem to be reaching for the ground. Just as the universe has the power to create, so it has the power to destroy. The sudden catabolic power of natural catastrophe and disaster is almost unimaginable. With the sideways flick of its tail, the hurricane can uproot a bridge, just as a shudder of the earth's crust can reduce whole cities to rubble and send tidal waves around the world. On a human level, we build our seemingly indestructible edifices of theory, technical endeavors, and civilization, believing they are unmovable, immovable, and eternal. We wrap ourselves in the trappings of power and position, but in the end, we own nothing. We only borrow for the time we are here. All we truly have is what we have learned. What appears to be random dissolution or destruction of your beliefs and relationships is timely and natural. The sea swallows what was built on shifting sands, and you are liberated from being a powerless victim. Now you have a base of which your inner strength can adapt and evolve. This may happen suddenly, with shockingly speed. The trauma may leave you stunned and confused, but the fiery blast that sent you falling to earth has also jolted you from a trance that allowed you to avoid dealing with profound and fundamental issues. Don't be angry or bitter at the passing, for whatever has gone never really belonged to you. Be patient, wait, and learn from the process. Yeah, fun books, huh? Some of the tarot. Where are we at here? Oh, you watched the so you're just watching scenes out the movie, Mark? You're not watching. You haven't watched the whole thing. You're just bits and piecing it together. That's cool. The tattoo parlor. That was near the end. That was near the end of the movie, and I was kind of in and out of paying attention to it. That's because I was already a little toasted. So I'm gonna rewatch that. The really interesting part is when he walks in, and the one guy that sees his tattoo, and he immediately just walks out the room and he says, thank you for your service, walks out the room and locks the door, and everybody's like, oh fuck, that was hardcore. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if it has to do with the 27 Club. But that is really well, yeah. I mean, what is the worst? What is the worst? Look, what is that? What does that demonstrate? Let's unpack this. What does that demonstrate? The worst hand in poker is a 2-7 offsuit. If you're working with a 2-7 offsuit, you better know what you're doing. It's every hand's a winner, every hand's a loser. And if you got a 2-7 offsuit on you, 27 Club, which is the inversion of 72. 72 is related to Venus, which is, I'm gonna break this down for you just slightly. I'm not gonna do the whole thing. 72 is what is the average lifespan of a human? 72 years. Because it's related to the division of 360 degrees, which is a circle. And if we divide that by pi, or phi, excuse me, and we put a star in there, the star of Venus, 5. The Venusian, the V, it's a 5. So if we divide 360 by 5, what do you get? 72. So the circle is divided by the 5 angles, which is a star, which gives you 72 degrees times 5, which is 27 inverted, which is offsuit and is the weakest hand according to poker. Yep. Well, see, that's the thing, is they don't really die because Jimi Hendrix is still alive playing the smartest man on the planet, which is the old black man who is Jimi Hendrix now. I say this every 50th show. Let me go get a chalice. Morgan Freeman. No, not only do they never die, he just changed his character. Like, it's the same dude. When you say no one ever really dies, N-E-R-D, no one ever really dies, it means, like, spiritually, you'll just jump into another body, blah, blah, blah. You'll have another experience. That's the truth. But I'm saying from the actor point of view, that dude just put a different suit on. That is certainly 100% Morgan Freeman. Let me go get my chalice. Here, we'll use this chalice today. And what we'll do is I'll pour my bevy in here. And then we'll add a few things. Let's add some pure silver. Let's add... this could be good. Quartz crystal. Let's add a... You guys know how to look into one of these? And some organite. A magnet. Let's see what we got here. Put a magnet in here. And because I'm feeling rather green, there we go. Chalice. Fantastic. Yeah, he did didn't we do this a while ago? What year did Jimi Hendrix die? And what year was his last movie? Or his last, like when did he die? And when did Morgan Freeman first make a movie? Yeah, I had a really nice piece of gold. It was on a necklace. And I do this strange thing where I give things away. And I think I gave away a chunk of 24 karat gold to somebody. I don't think they knew it was, though, so they have no idea what they have. Yeah. Oh well. It was a gift. It was worth quite a bit, but What the fuck are you gonna do? There you go, Mark. Look at the dates. Now, okay, dates are close, but do they not look exactly alike? I mean, I'm sure there's clues in his movies just saying that's who he is, but well, there you go. I mean, Juniperus. What are the three? What are his initials? J-A-H. Ja. Ja. So you have Ja, which is basically a god, and a freeman, which is so. I mean, yeah, of course they can pick and choose names and whatever, but when you look at them, this is before they were really going hard with changing up character traits for people. That's interesting. I can taste the copper in there definitely now. And funny enough, you say that we were talking about copper. Copper is electric, and Morgan Freeman joined the electric company. So here you go, some copper for your electricity. And I can definitely taste the copper vessel. Yeah, so Aaron, I'm sure you've heard me talk about why iron is not good for your blood. Even though everybody says iron is good for something. Iron is the metal that then becomes... Think of it this way. There's magnetics involved, and there is why your blood rusts. So rust occurs because of oxidation. So what is oxidizing? The iron rich ore, the iron oxidizes. And then you have things that are conduit for electricity, which by electricity needs magnetism to work. Don't make me drink all that, because then I might just explode. Well, yeah. Aaron. Yeah, yeah, the iron we eat isn't really... It's inorganic. Yes, that's the... Just like most anything in any of the cereals is inorganics. Yes, there is a quantity of organic iron that you might need, but not the way that it's presented with, like, Iron Man. Iron rusts. Some of you guys got that thing about Jimi Hendrix, J-A-H, Ja bless. Clay makes good for two reasons: is either going to suck up the bad things, or you get some in your body and it'll do it for you in your body. All sorts of animals will find clay to eat if they've eaten something toxic or have something in them that's poisonous. Oh, yes. So who's doing a shot with me? Let's go. What is your purpose? What are we doing? Come join me. Let me fix myself another beverage. Because there wasn't that much left in the other one. I gotta get some more ice now. I'll be back. Yeah, if you get a rusty nail, you need tetanus. What is? Okay, so what's Aaron? So what's a tetanus shot? What is in tetanus shot? What is the thing? What is it? Yep, 27 is also completion. Yeah. So you got 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54. I'll be right back. Let me ice this up. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Inorganic iron will cause inflammation. That makes sense. So think about it. If when you heating something causes inflammation, so the process of rusting something is heating something, and you call it decomposing. I assume deionizing might be the wrong word. I don't know, but yeah, you can use electric and magnetic forces. You can use acid and alkaline. You can use hold on. You can use yeah, acid alkaline, which deal with electricity and magnetism. Hold on, just recalibrating my situation here. Okay, cool. So you guys have got me to bring out a bunch of toys. I got the cards. I got silver. You got some wood. You got a bunch of crystals, copper, magnets. Fun times, huh? And also alcohol. Cheers, everybody. Haha, Mark. Yeah, continue on. Don't let me influence you. That's the number one rule. If you need assistance with something, ask. And yeah, you know what? For me, I'm all for she legit, with the exception of you'd never know the source of it, and um, it's become such a hot commodity that becomes like now that's the new thing. And here's what should be understood: if you can't source it locally, then what are you doing with it? If it's really not in your vicinity of what's for, that's not, it's probably not for you. So when people are like Himalayan sea salt, my first response to someone that says that is this: what are you talking about? Because then I have just to ask a very simple question: do you live in the Himalayas? To which their response is pretty much across the board, 100%, no, they don't. I'm like, what are you doing with salt from there? And that's only the beginning before I ask them if they, what is the purpose of salt, and do you know the difference between inorganic and organic? And then, like I need the Irish salt, the dirty Irish salt. Like, okay, but do you live near that, and what's the purpose of it? Like, what is it doing? It's got they literally say the thing from Idiocracy, which is, it's got electrolytes. That kind of, yeah, but what is that? What is it really doing? Then I'm like, all right, if electrolytes are good, then more electrolytes would be better. No, 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 no. I'm like, what about the water from the salt water in the ocean? How about I put you on a boat and you drink all the water from the ocean? You'll be fine, right? Oh, no, no, no. Well, I thought salt water was good. I thought you needed salt. Then all of a sudden their attitude changes, although they won't understand it, because they'll just go, no, salt from the Himalayas. And then I go, okay, fine. She legit. And then where do I get that from? Yes, it appears to be healthy. It appears to be living. Mineral pitch. It seems like you could probably find that in your backyard, in the dirt. And you could probably heat something up and create some living element that it has all of the, perhaps, I don't know. But it's definitely, I'm not saying that getting a fruit from an island or something from somewhere else because it came from a plane or a ship or something is a bad thing. I'm just saying if it's not available locally, what's the point? Why shouldn't the bioacoustics of the body and the environment link up somehow? And then if in your yard there's if in your environment there's a bunch of dandelions, it would be telling you that you have a problem with some aspect in your system that dandelions link up to, so you should turn that dandelion into a tea or a wine, dandelion wine, and it's going to fix the problem. Because certainly nature would say, I don't think if you have a problem that bad that dandelions are in your yard, you're going to be able to get to where you can find Himalayan sea salts or she legit, which comes from only the mountains in somewhere, which seems like scammy to me. I'm not saying that she legit in and of itself is a bad idea. I'm saying the scam is so you got some black fucking mineral pitch. I can take dirt from outside and it's going to have all those things in it that might be living because of all of the bacterias and things that are going on and turning things into, yeah. And I have she legit. I've used it. I get it. Um, yeah, Aaron, I'd have to disagree in the sense that we can't really say people that are have those issues because they've just recently went on a fruit diet, and we don't take into account the rest of their life history nor where they live. It's just like saying if someone started being on a fruit diet and they lived in Canada, not a good idea. But someone that lived in an island, if they were on a whale blubber diet, they wouldn't be getting along the same way people in Alaska would. People, if you're living in Alaska and living on an island in the Bahamas, your diet has to be different because your environment is different, because the sun, the temperature, the earth is providing you with something different. So it's like when people clown on, they try to put into the same category vegans and vegetarians. Well, it's also it would be naive to not understand that if you don't live in a place that provides you with vegetation and it provides you with whales, or you live on an island and there's fish, or you only have these certain substances, then that's what would be for you, for your body, for your being. So making the mistake of saying that people have any health issues because of a specific diet is not, it's not the diet's fault. It's about they've taken upon a wrong deity that isn't their deity. If you tried to maintain a diet that was northern European, where it's cold, and you eat meat primarily, potatoes primarily because it's underground and there's no fruits, and then you immediately move to where it's the tropics and there are no potatoes, and there's not wild yak and boars and things to shoot, and that's not happening, and there's more sunshine and your blood is thinning or thickening depending on the radiant heat and what's going on in the environment on your skin and the process of making melanin. These things change dietary habits and what will form your bones, your ability to see, hear, and just the structure of your cells in your body. It's going to be regulated on your by your environment. So there's people that are outside of they're in an environment trying to say the best thing to do is be a meat eater, be a vegetarian, no, it doesn't, no, that it can't exist. It's you have to it's your body type, and it's where you live, it's your blood and how viscous it is your what's the food is available in that area and how that would assist, and to go out of your way to live in Boston to be a fruitarian is moronic, because Boston doesn't grow lemons in January. Yet here I could walk down the street right now, it is January, yeah? January 30th. I could walk down the street and grab a fruit off of a tree. What should I eat? The fruit off a tree, or should I go and find a boar and shoot it? Well, I don't have that. It wouldn't make sense. Eh? So that's just going into the how science and all these people. Granted, vegans don't fit in any of this. Vegans are a whole new product. They're a culture of people that don't understand what's even in their food anymore. Hey, what's up, Judy? Yeah, I do. Go for it. Cards right here. Do you want the whole deck, or you just want the major? For you, Juniperus, I will provide you with all the cards if you'd like, and I could go get a different deck. And I know where they are. That's actually right next to me. Okay, well here they are. I'll shuffle them, and oh shit! I gotta grab a charcoal. Stupid me. just want to reiterate this point. Reiterate this point that animals and feral beings exist within the environment that allows them to exist, and the environment is as such. So the environment is they rely on the creature, the creator within the environment works within it, and if they go outside of that, they're able to adapt to that, perhaps, but they tend to be within the range of where they live environmentally. And then what we've done is said we live in a environment that is conducive to eating pork because that's what's available, or eating rice because that's what grows there, or eating underground foods because it's cold, or eating foods that are grow in hot weather. We develop, adapt, and morph because of that. But to ship things in from a different realm does not necessarily communicate what the environment requires. If I'm staying in a hot area and I keep insisting to put into my body mashed potatoes and I'm going back to whale meats and heavy fattiest things, and I keep eating that, it's not going to work well because my body temperature is going to be different, my blood viscosity will be different, and the environment will be providing me with something different. So why would I find something from a million miles away? Because that's what I require. Like, granted, there's going to be a transitional period if you move from north to south, south to north, east to west, wherever, to different climates. But the function of where you reside is what you're provided with. And having a birthday meal, having celebrations, and you can, hey, it's a celebration because these cats, friends of ours from 100 miles away, these friends of ours from across the ocean brought these goodies. We can enjoy them, but that's not going to be part of our diet. Just like, so you send for little portions of time to get a little something outside of your standard dietary habits and what is in your general frame of your environment. I can't stress that enough throughout all my videos. I always harken back to that, and no one really listens because they're not understanding nutrition, diet, environment, and how that affects your entity based upon your dietary or deity, your dietary habits, who your God is. And your God is what you put into your temple. This is your temple of God, and you keep stuffing things in it that shouldn't be there. It's going to adjust and could be good or could be bad to your blood viscosity, and therefore the cells in your body, and how well you heal or decay. So Junie, what's the question? Do you have it in mind? And I'll grab you a card. Here's the answer to Junie's query. The ancestor. There it is, the ancestor. Which is interesting because this is literally the deck. It's the wildwood. That's the it's why when you write a letter to someone it says dear so and so. When you say deer, you're talking about the deer with the antlers, because they're connected to the ancestry. This is the tree. That's the card, the ancestor. Number 5. The 5th card of the Major Arcana. Let's see exactly what this has to say for itself in here. The antlered figure of the ancestor is clad in reindeer skins and evergreen leaves and stands at the gateway to Wildwood. Framed by silver birch trees, colored the bone of white of winter. The trees grew during the Ice Age and are one of the first to regenerate in the spring. The reindeer once roamed vast tracts of forest, the true ancestors of our post-Ice Age oak woodlands, and it is known that they used the same trackways through the landscape. Thus, Ice Age hunters would follow their paths year upon year, hunting their major sources of food, marking time by their regular and predictable migration. When reindeer retreated north, with the melting ice, with the white hart, glimpsing in the forest replaced their older mythology. The ancestors' tracks also lead into Wildwood. The morning is clear with frost, and the first glimmer of dawn shimmering on the horizon, where the new moon hangs with the morning star, representing a new day and a reawakening. Ancestors greet you as you walk up the path that leads to the forest. She is a creature of half myth, half animal, half human. She is a creature of myth, half animal, half human, but carries the wand of wisdom and the drum that summons all who can hear to gather and watch the sun rise. The ancestor is blessed by the land and the divine knowledge that flows from the stars. Her coat is white fur and evergreen leaves. The gateway formed by the silver birch trees either side of the path marks the beginning of a new commitment and a point from which you cannot turn back. The trees act as a reminder to follow the path and know that you're on a journey from the beginning to the end. The path is marked with tracks that lead you onward. The new moon signifies an end and a beginning, as Venus, the bright morning star, shows as the dawn of hope. You have made a leap and started a new cycle. Your instinctive spirits has felt it necessary to lead you to the gateway of a new path. You have been reluctant or concerned, but whether you realize it or not, the shift has occurred. You may feel weary of the unknown denizens that await for you in the forest. But alas, the ancient ancestors within you will guide you and reassure you as you relearn a great new experience on your path. Trust your inner voice. Listen to your own instinctive and inquisitive nature. Your inner ancestor is powerful, patient, and wise. Let them lead you into the forest with new eyes and a joyful heart. There you go. That was fantastic. Yeah, it was something about the Morning Star and stuff, and number 5. Yeah, interesting. Sure, Junie. Ha 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 ha. You know what's funny? I never watched Groundhog Day on Groundhog Day. So if I were to watch Groundhog Day on Groundhog Day, that would be the least Groundhog Day-ish thing I could do. So big up fucking Bill Murray. I don't care what y'all think about these Hollywood peoples, but as RZA said in cigarettes and coffee and cigarettes. Anybody ever seen Coffee and Cigarettes? Bill Murray sits down. This is one of the greatest scenes in any movie I've ever seen. And it's not really a scene in a movie. It's a black and white. It's an interesting dynamic at a coffee shop of people sitting down, and it's just a conversation with Bill Murray and RZA. Check it out. It's Bill Murray, yo. Hmm. So apparently it's Junie. It's just me and you. Everybody else is shit the bed, pooped somewhere, left us just on our own here. Huh? What to do? What to do? Oh, it's 2 hours in here. If anybody wants to, I will remind everybody. I do this free to you, but if you'd like, because you're enjoying it, um, feel free. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. It's in the description box. My name is TsarXen, TsarXen, Tarzan, however you like to pronounce that. You can give me a token of your appreciation. I'm probably going to dip out of here for a little bit. I got a couple of people to chat with and maybe look at something. But I think what I'm going to do is go over to my other channel, Zen-Atman. That's my original channel, the bigger one. And maybe do a show there in a second or two. But for now, I'm gonna go and I got some snacks out earlier. I'm gonna go chow down, make a call or two, and maybe join you guys again. As per usual, take care of yourself because you are the most important thing on your journey. And if you can, along your way, and you find tokens or dollars or biosurvival units, feel free to put them into my account. Very easy to do. I'm not a rich man. This is this has been a struggle most days, but I appreciate it. And in the future, and in the now, everything is becoming more and more easy and sustainable and delicious and wonderful and delightful. Hopefully the same is for you. Be well. Do weird things. Holler at me on Zen-Atman. Subscribe over there. And that's where I'm going to do a video in a little while. But yeah, stay well. Toodles. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Junie. Good to see you, everybody else. Aaron. Be weird. Talk to y'all soon.